of a local family has been brought to the silver screen. The film reveals the horrific deaths of Richard and Marilyn Douglass 30 years ago, and their son Brooks' attempt to confront the shooter and take revenge into his own hands. And Brooks Douglass is here with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here.
So tell us, your dad was a Baptist preacher and your mom a singer. How much of an impact did they have on your life?
A tremendous impact, and I think most of the movie is really a tribute to them, and there's things inevitably you deal with the crime, but that's a very, very small part of the movie. It's mostly the work they did in Brazil as missionaries, the work they did here in Oklahoma, and that sort of thing.
That's great.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the crime?
It was 31 years ago, and now, and it's hard to believe, and of course it's affected the rest of my life since then. And so I think to some degree, what I've discovered through the years is that it gives me an ability to share with others and try to help other people and help them find a way to overcome whatever the struggles are that they're having. And then ultimately, as our movie goes, it's looking at issues like forgiveness, for example.
Make sure I understand right. You guys were at home, and a couple of drifters came by?
Right. They, October 15th, 1979, Glenn Ake and Stephen Hatch came to our house one evening just as we were getting ready to sit down for dinner, and wound up pulling guns, hog-tying us all on the living room floor. They sexually assaulted, took turns sexually assaulting my sister, and over a 2.5, 3 hour period, and then shot us all. We were hog-tied on the floor. They shot us all in the back, and my parents died. So yeah, it was a pretty horrific experience.
How old were you and your sister?
I was 16. She turned 13 while we were in the hospital.
Wow. Oh
yeah. My
goodness. You guys survived. Was that pretty amazing?
Yeah, looking back, looking at the kinds of injuries that we had and the fact that we were able to survive is pretty miraculous.
Oh, that is. You have been a state senator and you authored groundbreaking victims' rights legislation. Was that a tough subject to deal with?
Yeah, I didn't I didn't want to deal with it when I first got elected to the Senate, and I kind of dodged it over the course of the campaign, my initial campaign, and it was really as a result, after a year of being in the Senate, having some things happen that with courts and the things, a couple of which affected me, but really seeing how much it affected a lot of other people, and realizing that it just was never an issue that got on the front burner. There's a line in the movie that we have a system that literally steps over the body of the victim to treat the criminal as rights, and that was. And to some degree still is true, but it's much, that legislation was an attempt to balance the scales of justice in a way.
You were in the Oklahoma State Senate, how long?
Right, for 12 years.
12 years, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now you co-wrote this movie and you live in Los Angeles now, so what's next for you?
More movies, I think. I've really enjoyed the process, and learned a whole job skill, and there's a lot of politics and a certain amount of the law, and it's a creative endeavor, which is something I really enjoy.
Tell us about the cast.
Mike Vogel plays me. He's a great guy, and it's interesting. He's very young looking, which and I needed to find somebody considerably better looking than I am, and so that was an important part of casting him. Does television, big movies. He's in another movie called The Help,
Nice.
and so great guy. And then Taryn Manning, who plays Leslie, is on Hawaii Five-0, starring on Hawaii Five-0 right now, and Sons of Anarchy, and all these people have amazing careers, and we've been very, very fortunate to have them be in this our little movie that could.
Now, did the filming take place in Oklahoma?
Yeah, 90% of it happened in Oklahoma. So the rest of it, in Brazil and Yeah, places like that.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, how exciting. What is your website if people want more information?
Thank you very much. It's www.heavensrainmovie, H-E-A-V-E-N-S, rain as in R-A-I-N, movie.com. And we'll find out where and when we're showing, and we're down, as I mentioned, for the holidays. because didn't want to compete with Harry
Right.
Potter and all these other big movies right now.
Yes, so you're opening nationwide.
And it'll be in March.
Okay.
We're opening in Oklahoma and Texas at the end of January.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you've already shown here, I think, in November.
Yeah,
so.
we're in November, October,
But just
November.
for a
we have-
little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So January, we need to keep our eyes out for Heaven's Ring.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Angie, very much.